I'm here with Peter Shankman. Peter, how's it going today?
It is going well. How are you?
I'm so glad to have you here. So tell me about HARO. So it was kind of a business that kind of grew out of what you do. I mean, kind of a
I talk to everyone.
Kind of
What is my ADHD was actually diagnosed as ADOS, which is attention deficit. Ooh, shiny. And it's much, much worse. So yeah, I talk to everyone. And everyone I meet, I'll find out why they're interesting, and file them in my brain, and I knew that I had to be able to help somehow. Someone's on deadline looking for someone. Oh yeah, I flew with him on an airplane last month. Here's his number. Call him. And
right.
Yeah, it led to having more requests than I could handle. It started taking up my entire day. Like reporters would call me and say, "Hey, I'm doing a story on whatever. I got your name from someone." And
yeah.
And actually, the straw that brought the camel's back was the reporter who asked, "I'm doing a story on Nigerian farming," and someone at the time said you had tons of friends who were sub-Saharan soil experts. So I launched a Facebook group, and Facebook grew. At 1,200 people, they capped the number of people you can have and still send an email to. So I built it to helpreporter.com, and we're over 100,000 now, and show no signs of stopping.
So the concept is you send an email like 3 times a day, right?
3 times a day, I send an email to over 100,000 sources with queries from journalists all around the world. And the queries could be from the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, CNN, People Magazine, Entertainment Weekly.
So all you're doing is put it out there in just a basic text email.
I'm a conduit.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
But I'm a conduit with 1,200 reporters a week using me and 100,000 sources receiving these queries.
Right. How many people on your list now?
We're over 100,000 sources.
Wow.
And over 1,200 queries. And the interesting thing is when I started it, I thought it was for PR firms. I figured every PR firm would use it, and they do. But what it's become is over 75% of the site, or 75% of the users who get the emails are not PR people. They're small business, corporate America, marketing experts, people who see the value in PR but don't maybe have the money to hire a PR firm or not a PR firm. And that was totally unexpected to me, and that's really where the growth of the company is headed, this servicing this small business sector, which is like 99% or 97% of America is made up of small businesses. Half of HARO is pimping HARO. If you're on HARO, you can't answer every query, but there's a query in the lifestyle section that you don't know idea about. Might be great for your mom, or your girlfriend, or the girl you're trying to make your girlfriend, whatever. Looking for cute women who want a makeover to make them even cuter. Honey, I was thinking about you when I saw that. You're the nice guy that forwards that query out and gets a date out of it. That's really the beauty of. I've created the ultimate forwardable email. When you forward something, when something happens through word of mouth or through viral, as they call it, it's done because of a trust factor.
Right.
And there's nothing more trustworthy than saying, hey, you should talk to the Wall Street Journal about this because you're an expert in this category. What happens is that person does, they get quoted, and they say, well, I should sign up for that. And when they do get quoted in the paper, they tell all their friends, they post the story on Facebook, hey, how'd you get that? Oh, well, I belong to this list. I should join that list. It grows and grows. So what we're going to do is probably segment the list so that you could still get the general list, which you will, but you might not look at it every day. Instead, you'll look at the tech segment or the lifestyle segment or the entertainment segment or business as soon as it comes in. We use social media as a very part of what we do. It's not just a means to an end. It actually is very much involved. We encourage everyone, hey, this query interesting to you? Tweet it out. We're constantly looking for new ways to communicate, to listen first and to respond second to our audience, our members, because they're I said this in the keynote, it's never your audience. You are their employee.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's a lot of fun. I mean, I'm very, very lucky. I was telling you, I was hanging out last night with the CEO of I Can Has Cheeseburger, and where he's like, dude, I can't believe you've turned this into what you love. You send out emails to reporters and you're making a lot of money. I'm like, you send out pictures of cats with stupid captions on them. You're making just as much money as me, dude. We're both just like, yeah, we do. I mean, it was totally, two geeks that have stumbled into two different things that are both awesome. So I'm very lucky.
True. Yeah, but what's interesting about that too, I mean, social media, but really with with an advertising base, so it's kind of this mix of old school and new school. And
well, I think it's so funny. Every time something new comes around, the people that run around, I call them the Muppet crazies. That you remember. I growing up watching the Muppets as a kid. and the Muppets would run. A Muppet running down the street looks like this.
Yeah.
You know, and the Muppet crazies like Kermit are the ones who are running down the street every time a new thing comes out and it's Twitter. It's like, oh my God, it's Twitter. Forget about Facebook. Or oh my God, it's Facebook. Forget about email. And I'm just like, chill the hell out. You don't throw out everything just because there's something new. You figure out a way to adopt the best parts of the old into the best parts of the new. People run around and they think like the latest, greatest thing is going to kill everything and forget everything you learned. And I'm just like, people are idiots. Don't forget what you learned. Use what you learned.
Right, exactly. It's all about integrating them to work together.
I learned the Muppet when I was 5 years old.
Yeah, exactly. One more time. Just
No!
There you go. Thank you. What's your favorite social tool?
I love the simplicity of Twitter, but more than Twitter, I love text messaging. I love sending a text to people who you might not have spoken to in a while just to say hi.
Yeah.
You know, random hey, what's going on? And it's always fun to see if they get a new phone and they haven't put you into their new phone, you haven't been ported over. Hi, how are you? Who's this?
Yeah.
You know? You know, Barry Diller back in the 70s used to do that, but he did it with a Rolodex. He'd get into the office a half an hour early and call like 10 people on his Rolodex every morning just to say hi. It wasn't about him.
Right.
It wasn't about, hi, how are you? And see my movie. It was, hey, what are you working on? What are you doing? He'd do that like 4 times a year. He'd go through his entire book, and if you were in Barry Diller's Rolodex, you get a call from him like 4 times a year just saying, what's up? When you had a movie you wanted greenlit, you called Barry Diller.
Yeah.
And he turned Paramount around with that basic principle of reaching out to people when you don't want something.
Right.
You know, and I've tried to do that. I try to do that now because the tools are so much easier. We have no excuse not to do it, yet we still only talk to 3% of our network.
All right, so last question. You know, lots of marketers are still sort of struggling with, you know, how to integrate social media, kind of whether to pay attention to it or not. Any word of advice for them, just in terms of, you know,
Ignore it; it'll go away.
Ignore it; it'll go away. That's excellent.
The biggest thing I could do is you have to get top-down buy-in. You know, if you don't get the top-down buy-in, if you don't get the CEO understanding that you can make money from this stuff, then what you have is the low-end kids trying to run it up the flagpole, and they're not going to run it up the right way. They're going to run it up because it's cool. Mm-hmm. The CEO has to say, I embrace this because I know that we can make money from it. And from there, then you can give it to the marketing guys and the PR guys and let them have a field day with it. But you've got to get buy-in from the top. Right. You can make money from this stuff. It's great that you have a great brand, you created a viral video, that's wonderful, but you really can also make money from it.
Right. I'll put in a product plug here. We have a social media ROI case study collection.
I think you guys did one on HARO.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you know, they're good, and go get 5 of them and show them the boss and say, look, company XYZ did one thing on Facebook and they made, you know, they generated this much revenue, or they increased by this percent.
Right. Let's give it a shot.
Will It Blend? I think Will It Blend took Blendtech sales up to 400% or something like that in a year.
Yeah.
It's obscene. It's
crazy.
a $500 blender, for Christ's sake. I love the blender. I mean, I could blend anything in that blender. It's the greatest blender. It makes the best protein shakes in the world. But it's a $500 blender.
Yeah.
So if they can increase sales by 400% using something as simple as a video.
And a blender.
And a blender. It's not sexy.
No.
I mean, it actually is. It's a hot blender, but still, it's a blender.
Right. I mean, it's about as offline as you can get. I mean, it's pretty straightforward.
I've got to do it for a washing machine somehow.
This is Peter Shankman taking washing machines to the next level.
I'll get right on it. So it'll be all glass, and it'll tweet when your load is. Yes, I'm thinking something about. I wonder if tweetmyload.com is done, because we can somehow. That could be that could be Maytag's newest thing. It's tweetmyload.com. I'm gonna have to go buy that domain right now. Definitely. What?